The man accused of murdering Dee Warner was back in court today, hoping to throw out some of the charges against him, what the judge ruled, and other updates ahead of his trial. Plus, the names have been submitted. We now know who is interested in running for a seat on Toledo City Council. We take a closer look at the candidates.
I know you loved it on your Monday. That spring feel that has surged into the area that has brought highs to 60 or warmer should continue as we get to Tuesday. But hang on, a cooler lake breeze will arrive midweek. That's Wednesday into parts of Thursday. We'll highlight who that may impact in your 10-day forecast coming up in just a few moments.
Thanks for joining us in a new week on WTOL 11 News on Plus. I'm Kaylee Marantet. Let's take a look at your top stories for this Monday night. The man accused of murdering Dee Warner, Dale Warner, appeared in court this morning for a motion hearing. Dale Warner is charged with murder and tampering with evidence. The defense had filed a motion to squash or void the tampering with evidence charge. The judge said he's still examining records and declined to approve any motions until that's done. A quash is similar to dismissing a charge, but in this case, it is a request to dismiss a previous court ruling. Dale is being held in the Lenawee County Jail and has been there since November of 2023. His trial is scheduled to start in September. Warner's son, Jaron Warner, had a brief hearing as well. He also has been charged in connection with Dee's death. He's pleading not guilty to charges of accessory after the fact to a felony and tampering with evidence. He's due back in court April 4th for a preliminary hearing. The felonious assault charge against David Spiegel has been dropped. He's the Findlay man previously accused of stabbing his brother Gary in the face. In January, Spiegel was arrested after officers responded to a call where they found an injured man and a woman dead at a home on Lester Avenue. The woman was Spiegel's mother, Kathleen Spiegel. Foul play is not suspected in Kathleen's death, but the cause of her death is still being investigated. Both the prosecutor's office and Gary Spiegel agreed to dismiss the charge. A Lucas County program meant to help victims of violent crimes is facing funding concerns. For decades, the Victim Assistance Program has helped victims of felony crimes navigate the court system. Tomorrow, Toledo City Council will decide whether or not to grant the program $50,000 to keep it going. Without funding, the program wouldn't have any advocates for victims in the court system. The money comes from the Law Enforcement Trust, which is money seized from criminals, not money taken from taxpayers. Well, speaking of Toledo City Council, we now know who is running for a seat. More than a dozen people have filed petitions to fill the 6 at-large city council positions on the ballot come November. Megan Hartnett brings us the details on some of the candidates.
The 6 at-large city council members are running for re-election. This includes Carrie Hartman, the current city council president. Hartman was appointed to her position in 2023. Brittany Jones has filed to run and wants to strengthen community centers and food systems in the city. She joined council in February 2024 alongside Mac Driscoll. Driscoll wants to work on neighborhood development and make the city more business-friendly. City Council member Nick Comives is running for his 3rd term and currently serves as the chair of the Mobility, Sustainability, and Beautification Committee. Sir Sandra McPherson is hoping to secure another term. She currently serves as the vice chair for the Parks, Education, Recreation, and Health Committee. The only independent currently on City Council, George Sarantu, is up for re-election. He serves as the chair of the Finance Committee. But new names will be on the ballot, including Robert Pasker III. Pasker works in real estate according to his Facebook page. Tom Names is also hoping to be on the ballot. He has run for city council before. He previously ran as an independent with a focus on public safety and neighborhood improvements. Christy Killey has also submitted petitions. According to her Facebook page, she is pro-small business and pro-union. Erin Kramer also plans on running. She's the director of admissions for Owens Community College and is active with Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense. CEO of Breaking the Glass, Blair Johnson, has filed to run. On his Facebook page, he says he's running not as a politician, but as a community leader. Ed Bazinski is the owner of several restaurants in Toledo, including Fakasha's, and is wanting a seat on council. Bazinski has himself listed as a, quote, independent voice on his website. One former city council member is wanting to secure a seat once again. Tom Winooski has filed petitions saying he is concerned about funding and wants to ensure money is being spent on basic services. He most recently ran for county commissioner against Pete Gherkin.
WTOL 11 reached out to Darnell Smith to get more information about him running, but we have not heard back yet. There are 4 people running for the top spot in Toledo. All 4 potential mayoral candidates turned in petitions to the Board of Elections last week. Current Mayor Wade Capsicavage is looking to hold on to his position for a 3rd term. But those looking to replace him include Sean Mahone Sr., the executive director of Young Men and Women for Change, Toledo and Harold Harris, and Roberto Torres, who has worked mostly in economic development in Michigan. If 3 or more of the candidates' petitions are validated, their names will be on the primary ballot on May 6th. That would bring the race down to 2. Voters would then make the final decision in the November general election.
From what we see around the world and in the United States, this disease will, for a period, significantly disrupt our lives. This is certainly no ordinary time.
That was 5 years ago. Governor Mike DeWine standing with the then Ohio Health Department Director Amy Acton and then Lieutenant Governor John Husted announcing the first 3 COVID-19 cases in Ohio and declaring a state of emergency. We know what came next as the country shut down as the virus spread. The CDC says more than 1.2 million Americans have died from COVID-19 since 2020. We caught up with some people in Perrysburg asking them what they remember about the start of the pandemic.
So I remember the day that our offices closed down and we were working from home together, and it was a whole different world.
Some things are a little bit different, but yeah, it's relatively normal. So yeah.
I'm still working hybrid, so I get to work from home, so that's a good change.
According to the most recent data from the Ohio Department of Health, there were more than 3,100 reported cases of COVID-19 in Ohio last week. Join us all next week as we look back on the pandemic. We'll look at how lives were changed and lessons were learned right here on WTOL 11. We will have special coverage starting next Monday, March 17th, and lasting all week. Meanwhile, the number of people going to the hospital for the flu has dropped for the 2nd straight week. That's according to data from the Ohio Department of Health. The number of people hospitalized with the flu is also dropping. Flu cases this year have drastically outpaced the 5-year average in Ohio.
How about that warm spring feel that we had across the area, taking our temperatures well up into the 60s across much of the region, and we felt that spring feel, and it really was accentuated by the sunshine and bright skies. I certainly hope you had a chance to enjoy it on your Monday. Still looking at temperatures that are well above average, low to mid 60s, and we still got some daylight that we're hanging on to, because remember, we spring forward, or did so this past weekend, which has allowed that sun to set now after 7:30. Barely a cloud in the sky through the course of the day. There is some high thin cloud cover now working into the area. Nothing that's going to bring us any wet weather the next several days. We don't have any chance of rain, which is fairly unusual in the middle of March, which is typically a wet time of the year. Bus stop forecast going to be dry and maybe dark tomorrow morning for that early arrival of some of those buses. That sunrise not until after 7:30. Dry conditions, 47. It will be mild, 57, close to 60 by the time we hit outdoor recess time, and then right around 60 degrees into the afternoon. You may be thinking you spiffy that car up and take it to the car wash with no chance of any rain. We have dry weather Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Warmest of the next 3 is going to be Tuesday, lower 60s. The cooler lake breeze is going to be my concern as we get into Wednesday and Thursday, and you will feel that cool down. Now, if you've got the itch to head out to the Maumee River, not quite catching much yet as far as the walleye run. A little too cold with that water temperature, which is at 39 degrees. 63 on Tuesday, lake breeze Wednesday into Thursday will keep us considerably colder. Another thing coming up this week that's going to be on our radar, it's going to be busy either way. We've got a total lunar eclipse that's going to be occurring, and this is going to be happening late Thursday night, really into Friday morning, where we get that total lunar eclipse. It is going to begin at about 2:26 a.m. and end about 3:31 a.m. So if you happen to wake up, perhaps in the middle of the night, you glance out the window, and we should have clear enough skies that we'll be able to see the total lunar eclipse. We'll have more on WTOL.com. You can check that out right now on what to expect. Hour by hour, it's going to be another mild day on Tuesday. We'll go through the upper 50s into the lower 60s. Cooler lake breeze will arrive late in the day Tuesday. By the evening, we're going to start to tumble back fairly quickly, and you will feel it Wednesday morning. All areas are much colder, and here's the thing that we told you last week about this lake breeze. It's going to bring a sharp cool down into Wednesday. Areas near the lake shore, which will include our Toledo Metro and up into southern Michigan, You're likely to be in the 40s for highs as we get into Wednesday. We could be considerably warmer, as much as 10 to 12 degrees warmer south of Toledo. Areas like Findlay, Tiffin, Upper Sandusky, Ottawa still could tag 60 or warmer on Wednesday. So the lake breeze is only for select areas. We'll get right around 60 for the high on Tuesday. Bright skies in the morning, and we'll edge into the low 60s into the afternoon. Cooler lake breeze includes the Toledo Metro, upper 40s on Wednesday. Could still reach 60 or warmer south of Toledo. Dry weather with the lake breeze Thursday. Not quite as strong and more confined to the Lake Erie shores. And then 70s return. Friday into Saturday will turn warmer and windy. That will usher in a chance of rain and a few thunderstorms into early Saturday. Kaylee, back over to you.
Well, as you heard from Chris, it's getting warmer outside and fishermen are preparing for the walleye run. But what conditions make it prime for reeling in some fish? Silver Barker has the answer.
Temperatures are in the 60s, and the water is the warmest it's been in a few months. Enough for folks to hit the Maumee River in search of a fish the city knows well, walleye.
It's getting warm and a little shallow. The water's raising up, so trying to get out there and catch them as they're coming in. So.
Fisherman Eusebio Varo and his family are amongst those hoping for a catch. He's been participating in the walleye run for about a handful of years, so he knows there'll be some competition.
Even run into the guys, and they're just from all over the world, from Japan, all that, and you see them from there, and they're flying in to come here and fish. So it says a lot,
For those looking to increase their luck, Maumee Valley Bait and Tackle store owner Mario Campos has a few suggestions.
So you need to make sure your fishing line is fresh. Fishing line will sit on your reel for a year and freeze and cook and freeze and cook. So fresh fishing line.
Campos says fishermen should also be cautious with where they're walking, as the river bottom may have changed due to ice. He says the days ahead are a good time to go fishing, but later this month will be a great time.
It's going to be a low chance of catching some walleye today because that water's still very cold. They're coming in from Lake Erie, which still has some ice over different spots of it. So once the water warms up, that's when the action really heats up.
A downtown Toledo construction project is entering another phase. Summit Street is now closed between Cherry and Walnut. Officials say it will stay that way through July. Drivers can use LaGrange and the Greenbelt Parkway to get around the closure. Well, if you're looking for your next coffee fix, a new Dunkin' Donuts has made its way to the 419. The coffee chain held its ribbon cutting ceremony today, located on Central Avenue in Sylvania. A big portion of the Findlay Village Mall is coming down. The middle section of the mall will be replaced with a 140,000 square foot Target store. Developers and local leaders hope this project will revitalize the struggling mall and attract new businesses to the area. Buckeye legend and former NFL running back Eddie George is the new head football coach at Bowling Green State University. School leaders formally introduced him today. George fills a vacancy left by Scott Leffler, who left BGSU last month to accept a position as a quarterback coach for the Philadelphia Eagles.
I stand before you with a heart full of gratitude. I mean, that's the one word that I come up with as I stand before you today, as I walk around campus.
George says he looks forward to meeting the team and the rest of the coaching staff and everyone in the athletics department in the coming weeks. He previously served as head coach at Tennessee State University since 2021. The Toledo Air Show is returning to Northwest Ohio this summer for the first time since 2019. It's being held at Toledo Express Airport on May 10th and 11th. Those of the show are looking for volunteers to help pull off the event, which benefits veteran organizations and charities across the region. Volunteers get free admission, parking, a t-shirt, and more. We have information on how to volunteer on WTOL.com under links mentioned. A reminder tonight, registration is open for the Susan G. Komen Northwest Ohio Race